Looks like we've got some bad blood brewing in the Charm City between Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Trade rumors are swirling around the two-time MVP amid a Baltimore Sun report that Jackson and head coach John Harbaugh aren't seeing eye to eye. The Sun reported Jackson has been dozing off in team meetings, and Harbaugh has grown tired of the 28-year-old quarterback. Harbaugh addressed those rumors yesterday.
I love him, always have, always will, and I know he's fighting like crazy to get back. So anonymous reports or things that get said or written or whatever, I don't really I don't need anybody speaking for me, so just ask me and I'll tell you what I think.
Pretty blunt there from Coach Harbaugh. Of course, there's a lot of love. I mean, Jackson and Harbaugh have been one of the best coach-QB combos over the past decade. Ryan Bass here with you. Let's welcome in CBS Sports senior NFL writer Will Brinson. It's been a long time since I've seen you, my friend. So good to be back with you. Way too long. Jackson will be a hot commodity on the trade market should he want to be moved and should the Ravens want to move him. Let's run through some of the 5 possible trade destinations. Let's start in Miami. Lamar, of course, from sunny South Florida. Reports say he wants to play for the Dolphins. Could they make this work, Will, with Tua seemingly on his way out?
Yeah, I mean, the Tua thing complicates stuff a lot, Bass, because, if they, the trade, you would almost think that Tua would have to go back to the Ravens in a trade. I think it's interesting to look at some of these teams and do they have a possible trade chip, a quarterback who's, not highly valued. Tua is not highly valued. If they cut Tua, it's a $99 million dead cap hit, which is, almost not insurmountable, but pretty close to it. I do think from a schematic perspective that the Dolphins are really interesting because Mike McDaniel, one of the best offensive minds out there, even with these the offensive firepower that they've had and sort of the struggles of Tua, they've still managed to produce points. So I think he can do really, really creative stuff with Lamar and his legs and his arm. And you go to South Florida, nobody minds being in South Florida. It's certainly it's about. I can't imagine how warm it is on Christmas right now down there. But I think the trade aspect of it itself for Miami, the tough part, schematically, they're very fun to think about.
It's in the 70s, just to let you know, down here in South Florida.
Same here.
And by the way, it would be interesting, right, to see what Lamar, a playmaker, could do in that Mike McDaniel offense. Staying in the AFC East, the Jets haven't been to the playoffs since 2010. Justin Fields, he's been a bust, right? Could Gang Green be a fine fit for Jackson services?
So I think this one is really interesting because the Jets signed Justin Fields to that big contract. We thought the idea was that they were going to run a lot of read option with him, and they really didn't utilize his. He ran a lot, but they didn't utilize his legs on purpose quite as much until later in the season, and it was effective when they busted that out, in an early quarter of the game against the Bills. And so you could do some of that same stuff with Lamar Jackson, and then there's the compensation part. The Jets spent the season dumping a lot of good players and got a lot of first-round picks back. They have a lot of first and second-round picks in future drafts. So it could make some sense for the Jets to try to swap for Lamar Jackson. You would hope, though, that they would do so with a better overall offensive game plan than what they came into 2025 trying to use Justin Fields with.
And those top picks are going to be a key part of a potential trade that could move Lamar Jackson at all. How about Vegas? That could be a landing spot. This report actually mentions that Raiders co-owner Tom Brady is reportedly very fond of Lamar Jackson. Do you think Sin City makes some sense for Lamar?
Yeah, we'll have to see what they're going to do at quarterback. I know Chip Kelly did do a great job and got fired. I would have loved to see Chip Kelly fashion a Lamar Jackson offense. Probably a little late to bring him back. But I do think Mark Davis, who has certainly bolstered, his financial status amongst all NFL owners has been on the rise with the acquisition of the Aces. Tom Brady being there means you want to swing for the fences. They've made that clear. You go out and you hire Pete Carroll, you hire Chip Kelly. They've spent money. They clearly want to be better. It's a team, a roster that isn't fabulous, but you see what Lamar Jackson's done with his tight ends, whether it's Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Him and Brock Bowers could make some sweet music, I think, out there in the desert. Again, the compensation, you're talking about high first-round picks that the Raiders will have because they're a bad football team for the last few years. So maybe that could work. Certainly, if they want to try and make a splash, Lamar Jackson is as big as it gets.
Give me a Brock Bowers, Lamar Jackson handcuff in fantasy. I'll take that every day out in the desert. How about we stay in the desert, right? The Cardinals expected to be quarterback hunting as well. Of course, the Kyler Murray era looks like it's over in Arizona. You think maybe Jackson's the answer to their prayers in a really tough NFC West?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is if you're coaching the Arizona Cardinals, and whether it's Jonathan Gannon or I don't think they're going to move on from it, but you never know. The NFL is a fascinating place. We were talking about Lamar Jackson getting traded. You have to deal with Mike McDonald, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shannon for like the next 10 years. So how do you flip the script on those three masterminds, whether it's offensive or defensive? In the case of McDonald, you go out and get Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Murray clearly isn't it. You got the old soft benching in favor of Jacoby Brissett. So maybe they decide that they want to pair Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride with Lamar Jackson. I mean, that offense could cook a little bit. It would have to get ownership to sign off on it, and of course, the trade compensation is going to be massive. So like with all these hypotheticals, there are obstacles there for sure. But the one thing that really helps them too, an NFC team. I think that the Ravens, if they're going to deal Lamar, would much rather deal him to the opposite conference than inside the AFC.
Okay, I'll give you another NFC team then, the Vikings. Remember, they let Sam Darnold walk in free agency. He's having another Pro Bowl year. J.J. McCarthy's been up and down. Obviously, injuries playing a part of that as well. Do you believe they could potentially make a run, the Vikings, at Lamar Jackson?
So I think the Vikings are kind of interesting because of just how poorly the J.J. McCarthy experiment has gone. Now, he's been banged up, but he's a former first-round pick, a former national champion, and he is somebody who, in the early stages of his career, his value is not a first-round pick, but he might be worth a second-round pick as like in the the hypothetical framework of a trade where like, all right, we're going to give you 2 firsts and J.J. McCarthy for Lamar Jackson, and that gets it done. Something along those lines. Now, Kevin O'Connell, we typically seen him operate with, I don't want to say like traditional passers, like pocket guys, but Lamar's a great pocket passer, so I don't think that's an issue at all. And Kevin O'Connell, if you think a guy can scheme up something to help utilize the strengths of his quarterbacks, Kevin O'Connell is that guy, and certainly would get the most out of Lamar Jackson. And I think that J.J. McCarthy factor, maybe somebody in Baltimore liked him, maybe they think they can get the best out of him. That part of it is very interesting to me.
Justin Jefferson will probably be on line 1 calling the Ravens to try to get that move.
Justin Jefferson would not mind Lamar. Yeah.
Those two would be quite the tandem as well in Minnesota. Will Brinson, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, my friend. We appreciate you always. Lamar Jackson not looking like the 4-time Pro Bowler that we've come to know and love. Injuries, of course, have played a factor, but you look at the last 8 games, completion percentage has dipped. He's running less, and he's thrown 5 picks. That's the same total from his previous 21 games combined. Jackson's status up in the air for Saturday's game against the Packers as he's nursing a back contusion.